18 people have been killed in fighting between Turkish soldiers and Kurdish rebels. Fighters attacked Turkish military units in Hakkari, the southeastern province bordering Kurdish areas in northern Iraq. 10 rebels and 8 soldiers are among the dead. The fighters are from the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, and they're fighting for autonomy in the southeast of the country. For more, let's cross to correspondent Anita McNaught. Anita's in Istanbul. Fill in the dots, Anita. What happened?
Well, this is yet another episode in what has been a long-running, simmering conflict going back with episodes even worse than this, some 30 years now in Turkey. But just so that people are aware that it's not simply clashes going on across the border with Syria, here we have yet another episode of an engagement between Kurdish PKK guerrillas and the Turkish military. At 5 in the morning, we understand the fighters came across the northern Iraq border, right in that tiny mountainous, very, very rugged corner of Turkey. The area is Dalaja, where they came over, the scene of many, many attacks before. They attacked 3 separate military outposts, killed, we understand, 8 soldiers. That's the latest figure we have. Wounded many more, possibly as many as 18. And in the process of fighting back, some 10 PKK fighters were themselves killed by the Turkish military. They have the right, an agreement worked out with northern Iraq to go out in hot pursuit. They've brought helicopters to bear and other military vehicles, and they're now pursuing them back into the mountains of northern Iraq.
Now, I wonder, is this, do you think, a blow to the Turkish government? Because we know the government has been trying to resolve, which is an effective, a 30-year conflict between Turkey and the estimated 15 million Kurds.
Well, it is a blow to what has always been assumed as the overwhelming military superiority of the Turkish military. But of course, this is another asymmetrical battle, and the Kurdish guerrillas have become very good at what they do. This is not the most serious attack in recent times. We flew down to that same area back in October, when on the 19th last year, a PKK attack killed more than 20 soldiers in another border outpost. What it does do is complicate the political scene. We've seen a sort of resurgence, if you like, of initiatives, positive initiatives, trying to resolve this very intractable, very old problem. The Prime Minister reaching out last week, offering elective Kurdish courses in schools, and some senior Kurdish politicians themselves turning around and saying the time is now to talk peace, that only this government, which rules with such a majority, is the one that can solve it. But there's so much scepticism on the part of many Kurds now that the government means what it says and is really prepared to make the offers that Kurds want to see for them to stop struggling with the Turkish government in Ankara. It's a very difficult place to move on from. But as I say, the wise heads say that if this government can't be persuaded to give it a go, then any kind of coalition government that might follow on for it certainly could never manage it.
Anita McNaught in Istanbul. Thanks, Anita.